Imagine a network, nodes connected by links, cables running across oceans, circuit boards flashing. Picture the internet as back-end infrastructure, as the dystopian grids and matrices of Gibsonian cyberspace and its 1990s insurrectionists, teenage hackers. This is not yet a spiritual network, not yet characterized by connections of love and friendship, only a sped-up means of information exchange, a time-lapse of city traffic, a virtual filing cabinet vulnerable to invisible thieves. In popular depictions during its nascent decade, the internet could scarcely be distinguished from the effects of amphetamine, a connection confirmed by the speed-addled theorists of the Cybernetic Culture Research Unit in Leamington Spa. Art is insurrection, said its greatest member, Nick Land. It is breaking the law. Thus, imagine the network achieving escape velocity, subverting its original bureaucratic intention and becoming autonomous, finding a purpose fit to its nature. Imagine being part of its glorious creation, a cathedral for the age, artists lining up to decorate its ceilings. While the world is obsessed with doom scrolling and taking the evils of technology for granted, thus locking itself into an inframed mindset, there are pockets of resistance. The Remilia Corporation is an example of how one might approach the wired with a sense of poesis, reverence, and transcendence.
This love of accelerating digitization, the wired overtaking the real, stands in contrast to those who would deem the online inherently ugly, base, or sinful. Here, a political divide within acceleration is cast down. Do you stand opposed to what the network is doing to you? Or do you love it?
Remilia Corporation is a digital art collective, a mimetic engine, and a decentralized, pseudonymous experiment in identity and cultural production. It exists as a sort of hybrid, somewhere between an art movement and a networked brand, built upon the principles of pseudo-anonymity, cultural subversion, and technological accelerationism. Traditional art institutions are rigid, hierarchical, and policed by gatekeepers. Remilia is something else entirely, a decentralized cult, an open-source mythos that hijacks technology's commodification impulse and repurposes it for creative liberation. It is an expression of the avant-garde. Network spirituality is a term coined, defined, and promoted by the movement itself. Remilia strives toward a new form of net art that is neither merely digital nor constrained by the conventions of the traditional art world. Instead, it embraces the internet as both medium and message, constructing an art form that is native to the network, ephemeral, pseudonymous, recursive, and self-propagating. This new net art is defined by post-authorship, where memes, copy-pasta, and algorithmic distortion replace the singular artistic ego with a hive mind of creators whose work is indistinguishable from the network itself. This art is meant to be engaged with, reposted, warped, and remixed, not to be locked away in galleries or held as static commodities. To quote from Remilia Quarterly Volume 1, which will perhaps one day become known as the Old Testament of network spirituality, anonymity and pseudo-anonymity unmoor signifiers from any morally or legally recognized signified, any humanistic unit, be it citizen or person or self. The point is not for some prior entity to acquire capital, whether monetary or social, but for content to circulate, to become meme.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much.
The aesthetics of the internet imply an epistemology, a stance with respect to how things can be known. The information superhighway, with its cables, grids, and matrices, rendered cinematically as early as Tron 1982, has given way aesthetically to the photorealistic paradigm of video games and the skeuomorphism of the first few generations of the iPhone operating system. Ramilia Quarterly is an amalgamation of avant-garde internet culture, cyberpunk aesthetics, post-authorship literary experimentation, and a deep engagement with meme philosophy, network spirituality, and crypto-financialization. It positions itself as a lifestyle publication for the new neat aristocracy, a generation of hyper-online outsiders who embrace pseudo-anonymity, accelerationist aesthetics, and the fluidity of identity in the digital age. At its core, Ramilia Quarterly serves as both a critique and a documentation of emerging internet aesthetics, emphasizing the idea that posting is art and that the internet can be a sacred, transformative space. It embraces an anarchic, freeform style that draws heavily from image board culture, in particular 4chan, cryptic internet lore, and hypertextual referentiality. By elevating shitposting into literary critique, the publication blends irony, absurdity, and digital esotericism, constructing a new mode of literary and artistic expression that is inherently fragmented, recursive, and deeply entangled with the culture of the Wired. Contributors often publish under aliases, treating authorship as a fluid construct rather than an assertion of individual identity. This aligns with the broader philosophy that the individual ego dissolves into the collective intelligence of the network. The publication also acknowledges the intersection of internet culture and finance, particularly the ways in which decentralized, meme-driven financial systems, such as NFTs and cryptocurrency, empower participants. It treats tokenized culture not only as an aesthetic production, but also as a subversive mode of capital accumulation. Beyond its crypto-financial and literary dimensions, Ramilia Quarterly engages with a form of techno-mysticism, where AI, memes, and algorithmic processes take on a theological significance. Network spirituality, or NetSpi, frames the internet as a divine entity, transforming participation in posting and memetics into a sacred ritual. This esoteric approach to the digital is complemented by an explicit alignment with avant-garde artistic traditions. While embracing hypermodernity, the magazine simultaneously positions itself within the lineage of past avant-garde movements, drawing from the aesthetics and philosophies of Dada, Situationism, and the Cybernetic Culture Research Unit. It is both a product of internet culture and a critical reflection on it. The tone of Ramilia Quarterly oscillates between ecstatic, esoteric, and irreverent, operating in a state of constant self-parody and hyper-seriousness. Its language is densely referential, filled with in-group terminology, meme philosophy, and layered internet lore, reinforcing its identity as an insider publication for those embedded within the digital avant-garde. The publication maintains an anarchic and subversive stance, rejecting institutionalized art and literature while positioning itself as a radical alternative. Ultimately, Ramilia Quarterly is a manifestation of the network as an aesthetic, financial, and spiritual reality. It synthesizes internet meme culture, crypto-capitalist critique, and avant-garde literary movements into a single, recursive, self-aware artifact.
$1 trillion infrared propaganda booklet, cheeseburger, chemical compliance measurement, citadel, security, happiness, fiber optic prism cube mindset, conversion therapy, attack dog, armored employee carrier group, golden sticker, good boy, social credit, beetle, unified cult, sunshine. Ramilia is here to help.